Hello everyone, I'm Aliasser Safarzada, a student at BAU International Berlin, studying business administration. It's my second assignment on the online course Intercultural Business Communication, uh, fall 2017. In this assignment, I'm gonna analyze the strategy of batna negotiation. So, in this presentation, I'm gonna give an abstract information of this presentation, then batna as a whole, what it means, what it consists of, then its creation, its methodology, and furthermore examples of companies using this, and then a conclusion. So in this introduction part, having good options available before you start the negotiation is your best practice. You'll feel more empowered and confident to either reach a mutually satisfactory agreement. It means that in every negotiations you need to have a B plan. You need to keep in mind your alternatives, your ground. You need to know what you're gonna get as an outcome from this uh, negotiation, and you need to make sure that you're gonna get it. So in this, one of its strategies to get the best outcome from a negotiation is batna. It's a means best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So batna as a whole, which I said before, means like BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. This is your alternate plan. This is your CBTE plan, which the talks when it starts is to control the whole agenda. Batna is the most advantageous alternative course of actions that you need to have. Having good options available before you start negotiating is like best practice. You'll feel empowered and confident to either reach a mutually satisfactory agreement or just walk away and say no deal. It's an old saying that they say that don't put all your eggs in one basket. To a negotiator, this wise old proverb illustrates that if you only negotiate with one counterparty, you may end up with a rotten deal, no deal, or no deal at all. You need to have an alternative waiting in the wings. And this is just Batna. This is where Batna comes to rescue for those of us sensible to enough to have heeded to sag advice of that older farmers who said it. This is your alternate plan when the talks start to make control whole of it. Let's illustrate Batna by using a simple example. In the first scenario, let's say that you're a buyer who goes to a supplier to buy some badly needed parts to complete a project. The supplier senses your urgency. His eyes begins to gleam with anticipation, and you want the lowest price available possible. Then he wants the highest price possible. So, that's the problem. You have no fallback negotiation position. You have no B plan in this process. While you're both in this negotiation, both together. It's the supplier who makes the direction of the boats, which side it needs to move. It's not by your hand. So, but if you had taken a negotiation training course and you knew what was your ground, what was your alternatives, you are gonna make a good value of your negotiation meeting. Before arranging of the meeting, you set up talks with two alternative suppliers who are ready and able to handle all your needs. When you meet with the first supplier in the second scenario, you can simply sit back in your chair and allow the supplier to finish his plan. It's your time. You have your batna. The talks you're gonna make may become more amendable. You have a firm grip on the negotiation horse. So let's say batna or no batna. The power of your batna force you the leverage of to ask more. If you didn't get what you're looking for, then you can turn to your best alternative, and a strong batna is like a warm fuse insurance policy, a strong alternative which provides you with two possibilities. Either you settle an agreement with more options that you can make, or just by best prices of you're gonna get more. But the problem here is that you may not have a good position. Let's say Batna doesn't come with a package. It comes from planning and preparation. Process. First, you have your available options. Then it's your B plan, which makes it more empowered with lower and lower circumstances. Circumstances can alter rapidly. Unexpected can be anything from like new information on the table, sudden rise in the cost due to political upheaval, like whatever. So Batna, how do you determine your best alternative? So let's talk about it. Process. How are you gonna make it? Firstly, be preparing and of what you're gonna do. Find your best alternative to negotiate. First, you have to dissect both your position and your negotiation interest. Know your grounds. You need to know the ground rules. Then look up the sum of these parts relative to all the alternative options available. You need to make the clarification and justification very clear. And then you pick the best option. From your bargaining and problem solving. Then you conclusion and implementation, and finally to do the reverse from your counterpart's perspective. A well-prepared negotiator looks at the whole picture. So Batna is the key focus and the driving force behind a successful negotiator. It's a partner not accept a worse resolution than its partner. Care should be taken, however, to ensure that deals are accurately evaluated. You need to be taking into account all considerations such as the relationship value of money, the likelihood that the other party may live up to their side of bargain, and this consideration are often difficult to value because they change. We move on to the power of batna, how we need to improve it more, because batna makes you to leverage to ask for more. If you don't get what you're looking for, then you can turn to your best alternative. Batna doesn't come in a package. It comes from planning and preparation. It's twofold process. Firstly, you determine all your available options. Then you must also realistically estimate your uh, negotiation counterparts alternatives, like which is both of them is important. Otherwise, it will be impossible to gauge the strength of your best alternative. You need to have it firstly. Your plan should be flexible approach. It's important to keep in mind that both your approach and your alternative should be able to bend in the winds and weather the unexpected storm, but not must be like bond binding, of course. So this creation of this, as you see the photo on the slide, he is Roger Fish and by his colleague whose name was William Ory. They were working on a Harvard program on negotiation. In their series of books on principled negotiation that started with getting to yes, and more on they found out this bargaining problems means, and they unwittingly duplicated the game theory concept point. They found equilibrium. What it means an equilibrium. Let's see, A person with B person wants to make a deal. They want to get this deal done. So the best way is that if A is making the best decision she can, A need to take into account B's decision. And when B wants to make the best decision he can, he needs to take into account A person's decision into account. So this brings it's called as equilibrium. Let's make it an example. Uh, let's say that you want to buy a car and the other one wants to buy a car also. If the seller of a car is writing an offer car to sell a car for like 20,000, then the seller's batna when dealing with the other potential will be like 20,000, since the seller can get like 20,000 for that car even without reaching an agreement with the alternative purchaser. So in this example, we're gonna say that like 15,000 will the best deal because it makes you the best profit out of it. So let's talk about more methodology of batna. Batna doesn't come in a package. It comes from planning and preparation. It's a twofold process. You have firstly you have to determine all your available options. Then you need to use all these options into making a bargain. So the power of a batna comes from your plans. How it's done? As most business negotiators are like aware of batna, and however it should be like made clear at the outset that batna is not the so-called bottom line that negotiators like may perceive as the means of guard themselves, but it's most like getting uh, of the best outcome you want, and you can. How to determine your best alternative is to get a negotiated agreement is by some of the most crucial factors which should be considered include is the cost. Ask yourself how much it will cost to make the deal relative to the cost of your best alternative. Cost estimation may entail both the short term and long term, but it boils down to figuring out which of your options is most affordable. Secondly, feasibility. Which option is the most feasible? Which one can you realistically apply over all the rest of your available options? Third one is your impact. Which of your options will have the most immediate position influence on your current state of affairs? Fourth one is the consequences. What do you think or estimate will happen as you consider each option as a alternatives? So some people may adopt aggressive, coercive, training, threatening, or deceptive techniques. This is also known as a hard negotiation style, of course. But with the strategy negotiation, it comes with a strong batna. Batna is the best of what you can have. Is the best of what can you do for making a plan to be done. So let's illustrate it by making it more simple. The power of a batna forces you like to average to ask for more. If you then get well developed and turn onto your best alternative, a strong batna is like a warm fuzzy insurance policy. A strong alternative provides you with two possibilities. Either you can settle an agreement or no. But batna doesn't make it as a whole. You need to first the planning and preparations and go on and on and on with furthermore plannings. Now I'm gonna give an example of batna used by a company. I brought up the Iberia Airlines. Iberia Airlines is Spanish airline company, mostly you working functioning inside the Spain between city of Barcelona, Catalonia, and other cities in Spain. It's traveling by which of 10 million customers around the Spain yearly. What it did was like so let's talk about its whole. The airplane like industry is mostly dominated by Boeing and Airbus. So they have the market, they have the market share and price. How to make the market prices go down or fall is by their hand. But in regards to manufacturing, they have over 100 buyers worldwide, this Boeing and Airbus, and with having only two major competitors within the manufacturing industry, competition and negotiation can be fierce, long, and of course unpredictable, depending on the economic state and the state of each company that buys airlines from two companies. Prices and deals can fluctuate and swing, often in the favor of the buyer. In the case of Iberia and their sales cycles with both Boeing and Airbus. So what Iberia did in here, Iberia's chief financial officer acted in a very moral and ethical manner. When he was trying to persuade both Boeing and Airbus to drop their prices on their costs of the plans, he actively engaged in many conversations with the Boeing and Airbus and treated both companies with great deal of honesty and respect. He also used many great business tactics such as shopping of second-hand plans and never giving either Boeing or Airbus any information on who was in the lead for the deal. This led to Boeing and Airbus dramatically dropping prices and offering more and more incentives as the sales cycle arrived. By communicating with Boeing and Airbus of the others' intentions and action in regards to prices and discounts. So Iberia was able to successfully get the ultimate buying price within the range that they had initially wanted. Iberia successfully used Boeing and Airbus against one another to get the best deal they wanted. Airbus was also ethical and moral with his dealings with Iberia. They never even once criticized their competitor and used the advantage of the existing relationship between Airbus and Iberia to close the deal, but still they gone on. So it was the best example I could find about this partner, which is obviously on the net more famous that Iberia Airlines had built a batna, the best batna they could. They persuaded the both companies to lower their costs, the prices to the lowest possible, and made it the best part of it. In a conclusion, you need to have batna for everything. So if you want your uh, negotiations to have the best outcome for you, so you need to use a batna. Batna is to know your alternatives, your B plans, C plans. You it's impossible to get a best outcome by using uh, urgency, uh, wanting process in an negotiation. You need to be fair, softly talking, and have known your grounds, know your counterpart, know your alternatives, and having your BC plans. So for the getting of the best outcome, it's the best partner, and you need to improve your partner rapidly. You need to approve it every time by the time you do, in a negotiation meeting. You need to have your A partner, B partner, then going on and on, because you, if you want the best outcome, you need to have it. It's a B plan. Thank you for your time. I wish you all a happy new year, and have wish you all the best. Thank you so